All right, so we are live. So today, guys, we're going to learn about the text tool and how to apply layer styles to it. So let's go ahead, open up our Photoshop, and let's go ahead and hit Control N and use a US piece of paper. If you want to go ahead and make a background to it, feel free. I'm going to use mine as white as of right now. I'm going to hit the lights real quick. So again, guys, I do these little Google Hangouts, so if you're sick, you can catch up on class. If you are kind of iffy about a subject, you can always go back and rewatch. All right, is there somebody that is not currently in Photoshop due to some freezing or their computer just started up? Awesome. Here we go. So the text tool is right below the pen tool. Go ahead and right-click on that text tool there. There are 4 types of tools located in there. You've got your horizontal type tool, your vertical type tool, and then you've got these things called mask tools. Do not worry about masks. We've got another lesson completely for that. So we're going to morally concentrate just on these top 2. And with those top 2, we're going to just concentrate with horizontal type text because this one's going to be the same thing, just up and down. So let's go ahead and click horizontal type tool. All right. Now, when you are doing text, there's 2 ways to enter it. You can just go ahead and click on your paper and make an insertion point, which if you do this, your text will never wrap unless you tell it to wrap. No, not like Eminem. There you go. So it will just constantly keep flowing off of your page if you just text. It is an unbound text box. All right. If you want it to be in a certain area or destination, you click, hold, and drag, and that will make your text box. Now, if it reaches the end, it will automatically word wrap for you. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to click, hold, and drag, and I want you to go ahead and put your last name in there. You can use all caps. You can use all lowercase, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Again, if your partner is lost, help them out. Just take a glance over there. Make sure your partner is on the same page as you. And then, Sam, if you ever need something, just let me know, all right? Are we good, Josh? All right, here we go. So just like any tool that you click, this one has its own type of options at the top as well. So you've got your spot for your font. Is it going to be bold? So the style of it, the size of it. All right, left text, right text, justified or centered, color, arch, all that type of thing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and select our text. There's a couple ways to do that. If you're inside your text box and you want to select everything, you hit Control A. Control A means all. All right. You can double click and that'll highlight a word, or you can just click and drag. Oh, yeah, we are in shortened period. When do we get out? 8:05. 8:05. Awesome. I hope all those kids that are in yearbook class remember that.
Probably not.
You guys want to go find them and kind of just give them a heads up? Yeah, but I need those cameras back.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. I'm white. That's right.
Yeah, let me give it back to you. I like the puzzle theme that she was
What's your name?
talking about. Megan.
There you go. Adios. Go.
What?
Go find them. Go find them. All right, so here we go. We now have our text selected. All right, the only way you can alter your text is if it is selected. These only are going to work with things that are selected, or after you have written some. So after, if I change now, it's only going to affect what I write after. So let's go ahead and highlight what we got. Let's find a nice, let's say a thick font. All right, like a bold, thick font. Now, if you click the down arrow, you can see samples of everything, and you can see that it's also changing your font over here. However, though, at times, this little box might actually be blocking your font. So a quick way to go through all the fonts is as followed. All right, I'm just going to go all the way up to the top, click the first font. Then up here, I'm going to click and make it highlighted blue. And I'm going to use the scroll thing on my mouse and scroll down. And it will preview all of them as you go. Now, I know there are like 100 flipping fonts. For time's sake, we are just going to go with this one, Arial Bold. All right, you can just type it in if you want, Arial Bold. Type AR, and it'll probably start showing up at the top. Yeah, I think that is 4. All right, go ahead and make your font decent size. Mine's at 110. You can make yours a little bit bigger if you have a shorter name, or a little bit smaller if you have a longer name. All right, and then you've got your color, which is just this box up here. It looks just like the same thing down here. It's just your properties for text. Click it. Go ahead and choose any color you want. All right, next thing, if we double click our word, we now have this warp tool kind of like. I believe that's even what it's called. Let's see. Yep. Oh, it's a warp text. If you click it, this dialog box will pop up. It's got options for all these different things you can do to your text. So you got your arch, where you can adjust the settings, distort. All right, you also, I mean, there's all these different types of things you can do. Here's the flag, warp, make it look like it's blowing in the wind if you want. So if you guys, I'll give you about a minute to search through those real quick. Oops. All right, now I want everybody to go ahead, click your move tool, and move your name to about the center of your page. All right, now here's the thing. You no longer can type inside your text. How do you alter it? Maybe you misspelled something. Maybe you want to add something. How do you get back in there? There are 2 ways. Simplest way to get into your text is just click the thumbnail of the T. See how it's got a T? If you double click it, it will hop you inside your text. All right, anytime you click a thumbnail on your layer, it will select what's on that layer. So for instance here, I double click the thumbnail. I am now inside and I can edit what it looks like. All right, so really all I've shown you is stuff you can do in Word, correct? Microsoft Word, pretty simple. This next thing, these layer styles are going to add and decorate your text.
They're almost filled house.
Did you get them all then? They all know to get back here in time?
I said get back before 8:05 because the bell rings at 8:05.
Sounds good. All right, so let's go ahead and find out how to add these layer styles. Instead of clicking on the thumbnail, and do not and not clicking on the text itself. If you click on the blue area or the blank area of a layer, you will get this dialog box right here. Again, all I did was double click on the layer where there's some open space. All right, and you have all of these types of options, these layer styles. If you want to apply one, you hit the check mark. So I'm going to go over the easiest one first here, which is what we call stroke. Hit the check mark on stroke, and notice nothing changed. These are not the options for stroke. Here's the important things about layer styles. If you want to apply a layer style or edit the options of a layer style, it's just like a layer in Photoshop. You need to make it active. So you need to click it, and the layer style itself needs to be blue. Once you do that, you will now have the options. So for instance, let's say I wanted a black stroke. Click this right here, the color. Here's the size of it. Obviously, that's way too thick. You can put the stroke on the inside or outside. And here's your opacity. Did we go over what opacity was in here? Good. So stroke is going to be the outside or inside, kind of like an outline. The next one that a lot of people like is going to be bevel and emboss. Go ahead and click that one, make it all active. And I'm going to zoom in real quick on my text so you can kind of see it. All right. Bevel and emboss. If you take a look at mine, basically what that's going to do is it's going to make it like a button. It's going to give a little bit of a 3D effect to it. All right. So when you click bevel and emboss, you get all of these type of options again. Here's your depth to it. Your size. I mean, there's all different types of options. Give it kind of a glassy look. Don't worry about the modes yet. We're going to go over modes here later in another day.
Can we come in early tomorrow as well?
Yeah. Please. All right, the next one that we've got is called drop shadow. And drop shadow's just that. It will literally drop a shadow so it almost looks like your words are off of the paper themselves. It looks like it. Your blending mode, if you want to change that to normal to give it an actual like a darkness to it here. I'll zoom out. There you go. All right, guys, for the next 3 minutes, if you want to mess around with them, go ahead. Please save this. Actually, you don't even need to worry about it. Actually, more practice is better for you. So you do not need to save this, but go through all those different types of ones. When you hit OK, let me show you one more thing. When you hit OK, on that layer, any layer style you create will show up underneath it and just have like its own separate layers. So if I wanted to turn off an effect, like let's say I didn't like that drop shadow, I can just turn off the drop shadow with the eye just like that and turn it back on just as if it was a layer. All right. And that's all we got.
Do you mind if I